Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Talkin Outta My Stache. We have some more county pride going. We're keeping that county pride going with Mr. Trevor Williams here. He is representing himself. He is representing his new business venture, the Williams Key. I say new, but some of you might already know it. He's going to talk all about all of that and more on this episode of Talkin Outta My Stache. Trevor, welcome to Talkin Outta My Stache. Just one thing I got to get out of the way because we are official and I have a sponsor, Hikes Boots. Hikes Boots here. I wear them, the Air Power XR1s, and I wear those for my station boots and on EMS calls, and I wear also the Fire Hero Extremes, and those are for fire structure responses. Their boots are super high quality, and they are so much better than the others I've worn in the past. Be sure to check them out at hikesusa.com. That's HAIXUSA.com. And stay tuned for a boot giveaway coming up where one of our listeners can walk away with a free pair of boots from our friends at Hikes. Trevor, I failed to mention that glorious stash that you're bringing. It's very rare that someone brings a wonderful stash to talk out of for themselves. So I know you had brought a couple things in your pocket.
Yeah, today it's talking out of our stashes. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
I was trying to compete today. But yeah, shameless plug, I guess, for Griff, who makes Stache salt. He's come to Battalion 1 and visited, and I got to meet him in Texas, in Dallas-Fort Worth, last summer.
You were riding through there, right?
Yeah.
I saw that.
Rode my Harley through there and got to stop by his station. So he's amazing, really good guy. Another small firefighter business. My favorite is the chapstick version of the wax because you can keep it in your pocket and just throw it on. But everything he makes is great. And then recently, and I know you use his wax too and everything.
I was just talking to him this morning.
Oh,
yeah, we're just texting back and forth. We got some plans, some stuff.
The other one is the Mustache Key. And
isn't that brilliant, dude?
Yeah, really, really awesome idea. I think it pairs perfectly with kind of what I'm selling. We're not affiliated, but I love what he's doing. Really nice guy, and it's perfect to throw on your key ring. Yeah. I keep one on my turnouts. It's perfect to just, you have it wherever you go. And then he does customization. So this is a Williams mustache key.
Oh.
Almost like a Williams key.
We got a Williams key and we got a Williams mustache key.
But yeah, this is like, you can just brush your stash on the go. It's with you. It's hard to lose, and it's heavy duty. I
love that. It's such a good idea, man. So. It's great. I'm not affiliated with them either, but like what you're saying, if it's cool and a good idea and unique, I love talking about it. I love showing it, which is why you're here as well.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for coming all the way out here. I'll have a more centralized location soon, I hope. But again, appreciate you being here. How was the drive?
Are we still in California? That's what I want to know.
You're in Temecula.
Temecula.
So this is the best getaway with still staying in California, in my opinion. It's great out. Murrieta, Temecula area, very patriotic area, pro-military, lots of cops and firemen. So it's very welcoming to our type.
Yes, it looks really nice out here. I've been a few times. You guys are known for your wineries, breweries, and having a good time. Yeah, for sure. So like I said, I think we ran into each other on a trade. I worked at Sevens, and you were working at Eights. We had, when I was doing the designs, we were trying to collaborate on stuff with the designs, but everyone knows how hard it is to work with me on designs. I'm such a you know what, when it comes to that. But we finally are here to collaborate on something. And the proudest thing that I have about us being here today is we both are county firemen. And I'm really, really pushing the pride and when it comes to that. So I appreciate you, brother. Where do you work? I work at Fire Station 8 in West Hollywood. I work on the truck, first truck in the county. A lot of pride there. Pretty big house for LA County, 13 guys per shift. And then we have a light force. So we have a 2-car that follows our truck around and pumps our truck. And it's I I believe, the only 5-man truck. So we carry 5 guys on the truck, 2 guys on the 2-car, 7-man light force, and we have a great time.
There's a lot that is very unique about Fire Station 8 itself. And we'll get to the Williams Key. We'll get to Trevor himself here in a second, but it's so unique to be able to work there. I've worked there only a handful of times, and it's always a blast. But what's unique is all the high rise.
Yes. Yeah, we have a lot of high rise. We're known as one of the high rise stations in the county. We work alongside our brothers over at LA City. We train with them, they train with us, and we train on our own as well. And we're out there practically every shift when time allows. Going up the high rise, practicing our SOPs, and practicing how we play. So I like to say we're a well-oiled machine over there, and everybody knows what they're doing. So once those air brakes drop and we get off the rig, everybody's going to work, and there's no questions asked. We know what we're doing, and it runs for the most part very smoothly.
Are you assigned to the Quint, or is it a truck or a Quint?
It's technically a Quint.
Okay.
But because we have the 2-car pumping us, we call it a truck.
Okay.
But yes, I am assigned to the truck, to the Quint over there.
Best job I ever had. Okay.
Best job I ever had.
I put that on there, and somebody asked me for an engine version, so I sarcastically responded, "No, I cannot, because we all know the best job is on the truck."
That's right.
And I don't consider myself a truckie, but I am on the truck, and it's awesome. So the hype is real.
It is. Getting to be in that tiller bucket and going down Sunset Strip and a lot of iconic areas over in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
Hollywood areas. Nothing like it.
Shout out to the wonderful residents of that area. The public there loves us. They take really good care of us, and a big shout out to them. Thank you so much. So Trevor, we have a lot of guests again viewers on here that they like hearing the journey. And I've been following you on Instagram, and I know you have a very interesting story to tell. You want to go ahead and start off with just your path on how you got hired on the fire department?
I was born in Virginia. When I was young, it was just me and my parents, and my background is a little bit different than most because we moved to Africa when I was 4. And in Africa, there's a country at the time was called Zaire. It's now called the Democratic Republic of Congo due to a war. So we were there during the Rwanda genocides. A lot of turmoil going on, a lot of civil unrest. My dad worked for World Vision, which is a large nonprofit organization.
Is that what got you out there? Is that why you made the move? Okay.
Yeah. And so it was just me as a little kid, and then my mom and my dad out there. And eventually it got so bad that we had to move to South Africa. We were there for about a year in Johannesburg. It was also a rough area. Little did we know before moving there. And we kind of waited out the war for a year and then moved back to Zaire, which had then changed its name. And still was not much better. And we ended up having to evacuate out completely out of Africa to Connecticut. So we spent a few years in Connecticut. And then
how old are you when you came back to the States?
I was 8.
Do you have dual citizenship?
No.
Okay.
No, just red, white, and blue, you know.
All right.
So that's it. That'd be cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never really thought about that, but US passport, that's always done the trick.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So Connecticut for a few years as a preteen, and then we moved to Haiti. Haiti is an island attached to the Dominican Republic. Together those countries make up the island of Hispaniola. It's about 565 miles south of Florida. So we moved there, same mission, world vision, trying to help people. And I was a little bit older. I was 12, turning 13 when we moved. And just a more condensed version of Africa. There was a war going on there too. The president at the time, President Aristide, was being ousted, which means people wanted him gone, and they were physically rioting and forcing him out. So we experienced a lot of violence there too, and eventually had to evacuate out of Haiti as well. And we came to California. So that's what brought me out here to the LA area. it was supposed to be a temporary thing. I was 15 when we ended up out here, and I soon learned that I wanted to be a firefighter. It fell right in line with the missions work I'd grown up doing, helping people in these third world countries, helping people in their time of need. A firefighter was an exciting career choice where every day is different, every call is different, and you get to help people. So I was lucky enough to move to Azusa in LA County's area, LA County Fire Department's area, and they had an Explorer post 16 at Fire Station 32. Mm-hmm. You can join the Explorer program at 15 and a half, and I got in as soon as I could, right around that age. And I absolutely loved it. I thought I wanted to do it, but once joining that program, for your viewers, you're a kid in training to be a firefighter, and you're getting mentored by LA County firefighters.
Guidos wasn't was he the post leader at the time, or
he was a helper, and then Captain Russell Burke.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I still keep in touch with Guidos.
Oh, what a trip! Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So I did that. Learned my ropes and knots, how to throw SCBAs, how to throw ladders. Learn about the turnouts. Learn about pulling hose, and they cleaned me up a little bit. I came in there out of Haiti with long blonde hair. I looked like a surfer dude and a little scraggly. And so I had to start cutting my hair and shaving and lose all the bracelets and stuff. And it teaches you how to just be a good person. Like your discipline and showing up on time and taking pride in what you do, shining your boots, interacting with others, interacting with firefighters, learning the way the county works. Mm-hmm. All really, really good skills in trying to become a firefighter. And if somebody asks me, how do I become a firefighter? What do you do? First thing I recommend to them is go be an explorer if you can. If they fall within the age rank of, I think it's 15 and a half to, 20, 21, mm-hmm. somewhere in there.
Thanks to Jake on the last episode. I my own department, I didn't even know the explorer requirements, but that's correct.
Yeah. So when I was 18, I got into Class 48, LA County Explorer Class 48.
Oh, I thought you were going to get hired at age 18. Yeah. I was like, whoa.
No. I put in my app, obviously, we were being trained on the right path to take, and put your app in right away. Yeah, even if you're not sure, you're not ready, just put it in. And, you might not pass your first test, but that's okay. You're going to keep trying. Uh-huh. So I did. I put my app in right away, and it took me 60 applications to get hired with county.
Over the course of how long?
I got hired when I was 25, almost 26 in 2015.
Which is still super young.
Yeah, and I'm happy
that's
with
still
that.
Super young. Yeah, good for you.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I thought I wanted to get hired right away. My goal was 23. I had more life experience at 25 and enough to be able to relate to my coworkers.
Okay.
Any younger than that would be a struggle. You'd be the young guy. You'd be picked on a little bit more. All in good fun, right? But you're not. There's a lot of responsibility as a firefighter, and you don't realize that right away. As a young kid, all the situations you're getting yourself into, and just becoming an adult, and how to own a house, how to do your taxes, all that stuff, comes with time. So living on my own, I guess we'll backtrack a little bit. So when I was 18, my family left me and they went back to Haiti, and I stayed out here to pursue firefighting.
They had more work to do. Mm-hmm. And did you choose to stay, or you said they left you? So it sounds like you didn't have a choice.
I had a choice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did have a choice.
Oh, okay.
But my conviction to be a firefighter was stronger than going back to Haiti.
Gotcha. Copy that. Okay.
So I had for sure realized that Explorer program, getting to do the ride-alongs, once I did the Class 48, got certified in the Explorer Academy, started doing my ride-alongs, and I knew for sure this is what I want to do for my career for the rest of my life. I loved it. So I stayed in Azusa, and my family moved to Haiti again. And I have 2 sisters. By then I had 2 younger sisters and still my parents.
So you're one of 5 siblings?
No, there's 3 of us. I'm the oldest, and
Okay.
then 2 younger sisters.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So I stayed out here, and I was hustling. I started doing construction, and that'll bring us into the Williams Key a little bit.
Perfect.
Later on. But I did construction, and it's hard to live out here on your own as an 18-year-old. So I think that's what started to develop the skills that I still use today. As an entrepreneur and as a firefighter, and being on social media and being able to work with tools, work with my hands, work with others.
Hang on, dude.
Yeah.
You're throwing a lot of great stuff out here, and I like to unpack, right? So as far as you have a rich world experience, right? So moving to Africa.
Yes.
And also having Haiti experience, and also not only that, but you're kind of coast to coast, right? And here in the States, so you have a little bit of cultural variety with that. It sounds like you still had to get kind of funneled, right? So the Explorer program, would you say, helped funnel you into a more
refined candidate?
Very good.
As a firefighter.
Okay, so you have all this experience, you have all this stuff to talk about, all this experience to draw on personally. But it means nothing unless you have a clear focus or vision, correct? And I think that's what sounds like the Explorer program did for you.
100%.
Awesome. So you can have all that experience and all the awesome stuff in the world, but how do you apply it? Explorer program, right? That's a great thing. Now, when you were in the Explorer program, you were getting mentored, you're doing your ride-alongs, you're loving it. How influential was your previous past life experience moving around so much, or having cultural differences? How did that play into help or detract from where you were at that point?
Well, it allowed me to adapt and overcome, which is a key word, right?
Yes.
So, and being able to work with others, because every person we come across, whether it's on shift as a firefighter or a person on scene, you're constantly on the day-to-day meeting new people, learning how to interact with new people, and learning how to present yourself in a professional manner. So I think that's...
So it made you adaptable.
Yes, make you adaptable.
Good. And you were able to draw that parallel, right? You were able to see, okay, there is something of value in my life that I can now put into something I can have a career at and love at the same time. Wonderful. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Do you remember where you left off?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, go for it. I had to clear that up because that's a great thing that you offer.
And I'll say one more thing on that too. The people I met in that Explorer program were in my wedding. And I work with them now. And I got off the phone today with one of the guys, and it's like you develop relationships with these like-minded people that you could have for the rest of your lives. And it's extremely rewarding. At least it can be.
Wonderful. So you were in that Explorer Academy with a handful of people that are now on the job and made it on the county.
Yes.
Specifically. Bitchin'.
Yeah. So 18 years old. And I'm going to share a story that defines now who I am.
Please do.
And what I'm all about and why I'm that way. So 18 years old, living in LA, family moves back to Haiti. I decide to visit them, and I hadn't been back to Haiti in 5 years. So I figured it's time to go back, visit my friends, visit my family. And I'd also set up an internship with the United Nations for a month because they were starting a new fire program. And I think I was maybe I might have just turned 19. Trying to build my resume, still trying to get on the job, get hired. I'm like, it would be great for me to share the knowledge that I've learned so far as an explorer and going through a fire academy to help this third world fire program. The more knowledge they have, the better, And so that was set up through the United Nations, and I was going to go interview and potentially work for a month in Haiti with this program. So I go visit my family. This is the first week in January of 2010, and I was there when the Haiti earthquake happened. It was a 7.0 earthquake, January 10th, 2010. 300,000 people died, and over 1 million people were left homeless. And probably the biggest natural disaster of modern history. So just wrong place at the right time.
Wow.
I survived. My family's story should be made into a movie. I was on the second floor of an orphanage when it happened, and it was just me and some friends, and we were helping out these kids at the orphanage, and started feeling a rumble. And I'd never experienced like a really big earthquake before. Even living in California, I'd like
you weren't here long enough.
barely noticed them, you know. And so at first I thought it was like a Big Mac truck coming down the dirt road. And the orphanage and a lot of the houses there are surrounded by gates for security. So I could kind of see like old dust, you know, rising up and stuff. And we're deep down in the city, so I can't see too much of what's up around me. So this rumble continues, and after about 5 seconds, it gets really bad. And now it feels like there's a train crashing into our building. And this went on for 39 seconds, which is a long time for an earthquake. So yeah, after about 5 seconds, it got really scary.
Wow.
And I started seeing buildings coming down around us. And
out the window?
I was on a balcony.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah, it was like an exposed second floor. So yeah, I ran to the balcony edge to like see what was going on. And then I held onto the railing while it started getting really bad. And yeah, buildings coming down around us that I could see. And I saw a pickup truck down below where I was ready to like jump onto it if the building collapsed that I was in, because I started seeing cracks in our walls.
And you were on the 9th floor, you said, right?
Second floor.
Second floor. Okay.
Yeah, second floor.
All right.
No high rise in Haiti.
Okay.
Fortunately, because everything collapsed. Except the building I was in did not collapse. 110 kids were in that building. The second floor was all special needs kids.
Wow.
So as soon as the shaking stopped, we started carrying kids out to like a safe collapse zone, you know, out of, if the building were to fall down, we don't want it to fall on us. And
wow.
Aftershocks started hitting pretty soon after.
Minutes, hours, or?
I would say like 2 minutes.
Really?
After. And these are like 5.0
Damn.
aftershocks, like big aftershocks that were bringing down more buildings.
Wow.
And throughout the course of the next few weeks, there was hundreds of aftershocks.
Wow.
So,
of that magnitude? Like big ones?
Nothing bigger than 5.0.
Wow.
And not like a 7 or anything.
Yeah.
But the infrastructure in Haiti is like really poor, unreinforced concrete. And this earthquake was shallow. It was only like a mile deep, where some of the big ones we experience, we don't feel them as much because they're deeper down in the ground. So I didn't know the magnitude of what had happened right away.
Because you're right in the middle of it.
Right,
you're dealing with yourself, right?
Yeah. So I started thinking like, oh, I wonder if my family felt that, you know, or if it was just like centralized. I didn't know much about earthquakes at the time.
Yeah.
So I go to call and none of the phones work, like no bars. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Maybe a lot of people are making phone calls right now. That was part of the problem, but also all the towers collapsed. So this happened close to like dusk. I think it was almost 5 p.m. when this occurred. It took my dad a few hours. He knew where I was, but it took my dad a few hours to find me. And he was working at World Vision there as the national director. And he came and found me and pulled me aside, and he had this really bad look on his face. And he said, Trevor, I went back to the apartments where your mom and your sisters were, and we knew they were there during the earthquake, and there's nobody alive at the apartments. So he hadn't found them, but he said there's nobody alive, which was devastating news, to say the least. but at the same time, I refused to believe that they could have died. You know? And we didn't know like the magnitude at that point. Wolf Blitzer on the news. He called my dad. My dad was the first point of contact with the United States. And my dad didn't know anything either, just that there'd been an earthquake. Shortly after, you know, the data started to come in and everything. But my dad's like, there's nothing we can do right now. It's dark. All the streets are collapsed and walls are falling down, and there's a lot of bodies in the streets, and a lot of people are hurt. So he had a place for us to stay with his pastor. He had a house in the mountains, which was higher up than we were, a little bit safer. And he knew the pastor had a satellite phone for us to call family and let them know what we know. Like,
wow,
we're okay. We don't know anything else. You know, we don't know where my mom and my sisters are. So obviously couldn't sleep that night. Aftershocks continued to hit. I didn't want to believe that they had died. And so I started planning what are we going to do? Like, tomorrow, you know, how are we going to get them? And I started making my list, and shovels, tarps, water, body bags. And I hadn't cried, and I still didn't want to believe it. But the next morning I was up at the crack of dawn, and I was eager to get out and work, and we had to force ourselves to eat. We weren't hungry, but we knew we needed our strength. And then while we were eating, my dad started talking about funeral plans, and that just wrecked me. And I was like, that's when I started to cry. And I walked over to the balcony there, and it was up in the mountains. It was my first time seeing the city in the daylight, and there was like fires everywhere, smoke. You could just see like rubble. You could hear people wailing, and the sun was rising as I just took in this vivid image for the first time.
Wow.
And yeah, that's when I started crying, and
it got real.
That's when it got real.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you had to do what you had to do though. So after we ate, we started going down the mountain. We were going to stop at my dad's office to get supplies so that we could go dig. And as we're driving down the mountain, there's people walking up the mountain. There's people walking down the mountain with just their belongings and whatever they could scavenge out of their collapsed house. And people were bleeding from their heads and covered in dust. And I felt like there's a cultural difference and a language barrier. They speak Creole. I know a little bit, knew enough to get around. But there were differences before. But after we all went through this tragedy, we were like making eye contact with each other and just nodding, and like we knew, you know, like we knew we'd experienced the same thing and that we were there for each other, and we'd become family at that point. So we made our way down the mountain, and we pulled into my dad's office, the World Vision headquarters there. And as we pulled in the front gate, my mom and sisters came in the back gate alive and covered in debris.
Walking in? Did they walked in?
Hobbling in, yeah. They were hurt. They were in collapse. Ooh. But they were alive. And
they survived a collapse in the building that they were in.
Yeah. So the apartments they were living in, it was a 5-story apartment hanging off the side of a mountain. And they were on the bottom floor. And the exit level was the 3rd floor. That's the street level. So they would have had to go up like 2 stories to get out. And so their story is when the earthquake started, they had all just gotten home from school, and they were all in the same room, which doesn't normally happen. They spread out and go to their rooms and stuff. But they were all talking about the day together in the living room. And they start feeling the earthquake, and they don't know it's an earthquake right away. Then they start hearing like boom, 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 like super loud as it pancakes. The apartment
the building.
The building was pancaking down.
How big was it?
5 stories.
5 stories, okay.
Yeah, a big building. Pretty big building. And like two, oops.
Yeah, you're good.
Two, it was basically 2 5-story buildings that were pushed together.
Okay.
And as it was coming down, the wall broke open behind them, and they were able to get out.
as
it's coming down.
Oh my God.
And that was their only chance of survival. They wouldn't have survived if they shouldn't be alive. Moral of the story, they shouldn't be alive. They rolled down the mountain. My mom was barefoot.
They just jumped.
Yeah. She was in her 40s at the time. My youngest sister was, what was she, like 4, I think. And she was barefoot as well. And then my other sister was 12. And she had tennis shoes. So she did the best. They spent the night in a tree. And immediately after the earthquake, looting started. The prisons broke open. A lot of bad people escaped and were out.
Oh my God.
Rumors of tsunami coming. Like, it was just chaos, right? And then nobody could recognize the streets or anything because walls were collapsing, hitting people, and then it was hard for cars to get through.
Oh my God.
So they spent the night in a tree. The next morning, they hitched a ride to my dad's office, and that's where we all found each other, held each other, cried. Most powerful moment of my life, going from thinking I'd lost most of my family to getting a second chance and getting them alive again. So really, really unique situation.
Did you have that in place? You know, we're here. If anything goes down, meet up here, or it just happened?
No, it just happened.
It just happened.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
That's an incredible story, man.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh my God. Now, where in the timeline is that again? Were you already Explorer certified, or were you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I was certified Explorer, 19 now at this point.
Okay.
And I just got my Emt Accreditation.
So you had your EMT.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my national registry, which actually came in handy. So
in what way?
So in Haiti, we got my family out of there. The Air Force came down, picked them up from the U.S. Embassy because my mom was hurt. They thought she broke her arm and her leg. They priority got them out.
How long did that take?
Just over a day.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we spent one night not at the U.S. Embassy, and then one night at the U.S. Embassy, but in the middle of the night, they got him. I decided to stay in Haiti, and I was like, Dad, I got to stay and help. Like, this is my calling. Like, I'm here for a reason.
Wow.
It's no coincidence that I haven't been back in 5 years. Now I'm trained up. I'm an EMT. I know a little bit about search and rescue, and I just happened to be here the week that this happened. I have to stay. And he's like, you're right. Here's the keys. And he left with my family. Then I was on my own. And I stayed in Haiti for about a month afterwards. And I helped pull bodies out, nobody alive. At the U.S. Embassy, I saw LA County Task Force 2.
That was going to be a follow-up question.
They had just arrived. There's a fence separating me from them. The U.S. Embassy is part of the airport, but it's like a protected part.
Okay.
And I had a Station 32 shirt on and an LA County hat, and I lost everything else. That's all I had was county stuff. And I waved them over. I was like, hey, guys, look, county. And they came over looking super confused. Who's this kid wearing county stuff? And I gave them a quick spiel of my story. And I was like, can I help? I know the country. I know the language. I was here when it happened. And they're like, nope, sorry, kid. We're contracted with USAID and FEMA and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was a little bitter about that before getting on the job. But I swore one day I'm going to get hired and I'm going to join Task Force 2 and that's then I'm going to feel good. I'm part of that team now.
Oh, bitchin'.
Yeah. So
right on.
That was fulfilled.
Oh, and, good for you, dude. That's awesome.
Super happy about that.
That's awesome.
But I did get to work with some other search and rescue teams, and we went around, tried to move rubble. We got some body parts out, but nobody alive.
Wow.
County though, I think they had the most saves. I want to say 11 or 12, which is a lot.
And they had their dogs out and everything.
Yeah, they had their full team. I think it's almost 80 people came down. And it's been cool now that I'm on the job, bumping into guys who responded to Haiti.
Oh, okay.
And, hearing their story and their side of it too.
Nice.
But eventually I made my way over to, back to the airport. The University of Miami had set up a bunch of MASH tents, and they had these huge tents where they were triaging people and doing amputations, and because like a bunch of criminals came out of the
right.
Like violence was going through the roof.
Yeah.
There was no food. So like gunshot wounds even were showing up. And I was like, hey, I'm an EMT. Can I help? And they actually asked me for my national registry card.
Really?
Which I was surprised because I'm like, we're in the middle of like a war zone. You know?
Right.
Don't you just want my help? Fortunately for me, I had lost my wallet and all my stuff was in the apartment that collapsed. But I went back there to like check it out and see what I could grab. And somebody had already looted the house. They found my wallet, took the money, but left the wallet, left my national registry card.
Right.
So I was able to like get that, and they risked their lives like going into that building deeper like than I would have wanted to go, and found my stuff. So I had it, and it was like smashed and stuff from rubble, but I'm like, yeah, I guess I have the national registry card. So they looked it up, and they're like, all right, cool. Here, push morphine. Here, start this IV. Like, here, grab this leg while we saw it.
So you need your registry card, but you can expand your scope.
I was a doctor after that. Like, I got to do stuff that I would never, ever get to do here without the training.
Wow.
And I worked. So there you work until you drop. And they have a cot you can go take a nap on and then get up and work again. And I did that until I got burnt out. And by the end of it, I'd been there longer than a lot of the doctors because they'd come for a few days and leave.
Yeah.
I was in charge of like a orthopedic, like pre and post surgery.
Wow.
Where I was like, starting the IVs, making sure they're getting their meds, changing their bandages, and like it was mine. Like I was in charge there as a 19-year-old. And there was like,
how long were you doing that?
Like a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like a week. And then obviously, like I'm being supervised too, but there's people I can reference and not get too out of hand.
Right.
But it was a great experience.
Right.
And knowing the language a little bit and stuff, I was getting to talk to everybody and kind of give a better understanding to the doctors who didn't know the language. I also worked with a helicopter team before the hospital. A group of private like helicopter people flew their helicopters to Haiti to help. And nobody was getting in and out of the country, like no commercial flights, or like it was really hard to get into Haiti and really hard to get out because the airports were damaged and stuff. But some helicopters made it over. So I told them my story, and they were like, yeah, hop on, you can join the team and help. And we were taking food from the airport, and we were dropping it all over the country in Haiti. And that was probably the most fun I had because I was in helicopters all day long. And we'd load up the helicopter with like bags of beans, and then we started to get smarter about it, where like we were strategic with where we do our drops. We do canned goods over like a little river, and people would just swarm and get canned goods in the river. And then
you never land.
So we learned that the hard way. We did land one time, and I jumped out with a Rambo knife and a 50-pound bag of beans, started cutting it open, and we just got swarmed. And there's video of this too. People came out of the woodworks and started trying to climb in the helicopter. Helicopter started taking off while they're pushing people out of it because it could crash. Or it could hurt somebody. I had to jump into the helicopter while it was off the ground and climb into it as it took off. Because we would get just swarmed, and people were desperate for food. A lot of riots happened. And I was involved with 2 riots almost immediately after the earthquake through World Vision, because I went there to help first. And it was just out of the back of the truck. And same thing happened. We got swarmed. We had to leave. We couldn't distribute all the food. So being in the helicopters was like the most effective way by far to get the
just
food
dump
out
stuff.
There. So after that, we would just hover.
Yeah.
And that was cool. It was really cool.
Talking out of my stash, everybody. Holy, I had no idea that you had that. Everyone's got a story. I'm blown away, dude. That's incredible. And now the private helicopter thing, is that through the World Vision? Did that help you get into these mission type things, or was that just you getting out there and saying, hey, I'm here to help?
Yeah, that was just me seeing helicopters, being drawn to that. and introducing myself, telling them my story. I was experienced the earthquake.
Right.
I can help. And really my big asset was knowing the country, the language, and being there during the earthquake.
Wow.
And that got me into a lot of situations.
Yeah.
To be helpful.
How long total before you came back to the States after that?
I was there about a month. Yeah. So after a month, I was getting really worn down. Every night, like, I was sleeping on the ground. I'd never had a place to sleep, really. Food too. Like, I didn't really have access to food all the time. I didn't have any money. I'd lost all that in the earthquake. And I was eating a lot of MREs because we were getting those at the hospital and out of the airport. But after a month, I was like, I feel like my work here is done for now. So I went to the airport, and everybody was telling me, like, oh, there's no way you're gonna get to go home. Like, there's been people waiting for weeks to fly home, sleeping on the tarmac. Like, it's just chaotic. And I lost my passport, I lost my money, like, I didn't have anything. And I was just like, I feel like it's time for me to go home. So I'm gonna trust God to get me there. And so I went to the airport, and I just told myself I'm gonna walk, and I'm gonna get as far as I can until they stop me. And I walked through security, no ID, no nothing, nobody stopped me. And I walked through the terminal, nobody stopped me. I walked out onto the tarmac, and I saw people who had been out there a long time, camped up, sleeping bags and tents and stuff, just waiting for a flight. Like, maybe a private charter would come pick them up and they get lucky or something like that. And within 30 minutes, somebody came up to me and they said, hey, we got an extra seat on our flight. We're just picking somebody. Do you want to go? And I was like, yeah, I want to go. So faster than LAX, you spend a couple hours at LAX getting on a flight. I was on a flight within 30 minutes. And we went to the Bahamas. It was a little tiny plane. Went to the Bahamas, fueled up, and then flew to Florida. And I was like, what do I owe you guys? Because I didn't have the money. Yeah. And they're like, oh, it's free. Just make a donation to the website. And I was like, okay, yeah. Clearly I was like, the path had been paved for me to go home. I had no contact with my family for most of that time. So I borrowed a cell phone, lost my cell phone, borrowed a cell phone and called them. And I was like, hey, I'm in Florida. Would love to meet up with you guys, bring some closure to this whole experience. Yeah. They were in Connecticut, recovering with my grandparents. So my dad flew me to Connecticut the next day, spent a little bit of time with them, and then came back to California.
Incredible, dude. Yeah. That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah. And as a result of that, I started a nonprofit organization. It's called Firm Foundation, Firme. It's spelled Firme.
Okay.
It means something different in Creole than it does in Spanish.
What does it mean?
It just means solid, strong.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But a lot of the people around here, they're like, oh, Firme. Yeah, I like that.
So was that your first endeavor into the entrepreneur world with that?
Yeah. So I learned a lot. I knew nothing about nonprofits other than, my dad had worked for one, but that was like,
and it wasn't his, he just was part of it. Right, he just worked for them.
Right, yeah. World Vision, is one of the largest nonprofit Christian organizations in the world, and he just got hired by them. He didn't start it or anything like that. But when I started my own nonprofit, he wasn't super encouraging about it. Like he was like, he thought I was in over my head. Oh. And now so the way I wanted to give back, because I got a second chance, my family got a second chance. I wanted to keep helping in Haiti. So I made this nonprofit, and we build houses for earthquake survivors. And we built 39 houses so far. And
it's still going today.
It's still going today.
Cool. What's the name?
Firm Foundation, FIRME,
okay.
Foundation.org.
Okay.
There's a website.
We'll put that up there.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. Haven't gotten to go in a few years. It's been really bad in Haiti. In fact, last week, the president was assassinated.
Right.
And it's just always something going on that's very tragic in Haiti. never stops for them. They never get a break, which is another reason why I have such a passion to continue helping that country.
Wow.
But another reason why I feel like I got a second chance was, remember the United Nations internship thing I was supposed to do?
Yeah.
I rescheduled my interview to a day early. Had I done that interview, I would have been in this building where everybody died. 300 people died. It was called the Christoph Building. And my interview was scheduled during the time of the earthquake. So I happened to do it. I called them. I was like, hey, let's get to work sooner. You know, I don't want to waste time while I'm here.
Yeah.
So I called them. I'm like, hey, can we reschedule to a day early? I did the interview. They liked me. I got the green light. But had I done the original interview, I would have surely died.
Wow.
So I knew I got a second chance too.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Dude, that is incredible. I had no idea. Thank you for sharing that. That is awesome. I don't even know what to say right now. That level of stress, 19 years old, right?
Right.
Blindsided. I mean, talk about the survival mode. Did you go into like a survival mode? Do you remember feeling things or doing things consciously, or was it like an automatic response? I mean, what's going through your head? Obviously, when everything's going down live, 39 seconds or so, like you said. Mm-hmm. But once you're able to look at what's going on and the reality sets in and you have to go to work, what's going through your brain, dude?
Yeah, so I think what prepared me for that event was having lived in Africa during a war and having lived in Haiti during a war.
Okay.
And being shot at, being chased, being broken into, thinking at times that this was it. Like, I'm not going to survive this. The earthquake was not the first time for me to experience those feelings. So I do feel like I was somewhat prepared for that. And those types of experiences have definitely prepared me to be a firefighter, because we respond to people on their worst days. Sometimes somebody's worst day is they got an offender bender, and that's the worst day for them. Mm-hmm. And it's legitimate for them because they've never seen anything worse. But my worst day was seeing thousands of dead bodies in Haiti,
right,
and thinking that my family had also died, and thinking that I was going to die. So little things don't bother me quite as much, which is important as a firefighter, to be able to handle a lot of stress and to still be able to function under those conditions.
Now you're still human. So does what gets to you? Without getting into too specifics, but does stuff get to you, or do you think you kind of...
Well, I don't want to give anybody ammo, but...
yeah. You know, do you get... I mean, obviously stuff... There's people want to know, dude, you've been through all of this. There can't be a curveball that we could throw at you as far as life, you know, or calls or whatever.
So I think the things... I'm a very easygoing guy for the most part. The things that bother me are when... It actually has to do with racism a little bit.
Oh.
People sometimes think that I don't understand racism, or I experienced a lot of racism in my growing up as the oddball in Africa and in Haiti.
You were the minority there.
I was the minority.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to get too like controversial.
Right.
But I understand racism.
Uh-huh.
And when somebody challenges me on that, I've got a lot to say.
Oh, okay. So as far as the job, though, as you know, the challenges and the stresses that we see and go through, the repetitiveness sounds like commonplace for your
I feel pretty,
demeanor. Right?
Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable. I mean, I've never fought with like a coworker or
right.
had a call where I just couldn't get over it, and you know, where I lost sleep about it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was getting at more.
Yeah, I think any decent human has a problem with like kids getting hurt, and stuff like that. I'm not like a robot or like
where
I don't feel anything. I still have emotions and I feel.
Great.
But I think I can deal with them in a healthy manner.
Cool.
My wife is great about that too. She always asks me about my day, and she lets me talk, and she knows the right questions to ask, and she can tell if something bothers me a little bit more than I'm leading on, and she wants to hear it all.
That is key.
And she's really good about. She's not like, oh, I don't, just keep that to yourself or whatever. No, she wants all the details, and that helps me vent when I get home too.
Good, dude. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. And we got to have our good support system. I just wanted for you to clarify that, because you just went through this incredible story with this amazing background, and you do the job that we do. And I don't want the general public to think that they need to all go through that in order to be a fireman.
No.
Or that you're some kind of cold-hearted, detached person. If they see you on a response, you still have a soul and you're still a human.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I asked that. But I cannot thank you enough for sharing that. That's an incredible story. And we originally came to, promote your goods and your wares, but that hour was just a bonus. Did that feel like an hour?
No,
right?
We were just getting started.
Yeah, that was almost, we're at 53 minutes right now, and it flew by right now. And I know you were the one telling it. I'm sure it felt like 5 minutes. So again, I keep always saying interview prep stuff. So, I mean, if you were able to see the destruction in your head as he was telling the story, that is a fine example of how to tell your story. And, I always say, show what you are. Don't tell people what you are. And a story like that shows that you're there to sacrifice. You're there for the long run. You're there for a bigger purpose. You had a calling. You mentioned that. And fine example of a fantastic story. Thank you so much. With all of that being said, please tell us about this awesome tool set and all these wares that you have. The Williams Key. How did you even come up with this?
All right. Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Dude, seriously, that was awesome, bro. Thank you.
Oh,
Williams Key.
my pleasure. So all that being said, I had to hustle as a young man in LA to pay the bills, and it started with construction. And I did general construction, and then I got hired doing commercial construction, installing doors. And I did doors for a few years, and we did tons of schools, USC, UCLA, we did prisons, we did fire stations. So I constantly had locks in my hand, and I constantly was like troubleshooting them and fixing them. And that's where I started to kind of get a knack for locks. And at work, we have a position called the inside position, and that guy has to get you into a door. So he's really good. Typically at forcible entry and using your irons and using your Halligan and your axe and a chainsaw and a rotary saw. And these are like aggressive techniques to get into a door where you're doing damage. And my background in doors, it irked me a little bit to see damage to doors, because I knew all the work that went into installing a door and
the cost,
how expensive it was. And I started seeing, like, on the job, doors that did not need to be damaged getting damaged. And through the skills I learned as a door installer, I learned how to pick locks, and I learned how to just all these little specialty tools and ways to get into doors. To where now I almost have an X-ray vision of a door, where I have a pretty good idea what that lock looks like on the other side of the door. And I know techniques I can use. I've probably got like 5 techniques for every lock, where if this doesn't work, I'm going to try that. And I have all these contingencies. And I made a tool for myself. This is the Williams Key. I don't know if this is
and that will show up here and also in the middle there, but right here is going to be your best bet.
So I made a very crude version of this tool, and I just had it for myself because I didn't like doing damage, and I ended up building myself a little toolkit of all these specialty tools and J hooks for panic hardware, and I didn't have a name for it at the time, but this type of shove knife. And the the idea of a shove knife has been around for a while, but this explores, it's very versatile, the way that I made it. So you can do a lot with it. And yeah, for like a year or two, I was just going on calls, working overtimes, bringing my little tool bag. People would make fun of me for it, my wizard kit, but I was getting in, and I was getting in fast, and I wasn't doing damage.
And this is all at 8s, right?
This is at 8. It started at 8s.
Oh, okay.
But I love working out of station too.
And, oh, okay.
Going all over the county.
Yeah.
So people started seeing me use this thing, and before long, they kept seeing this tool getting pulled out, like call after call after call. Got us in. And people started asking me to make them one. And the first one I ever made, it took me like hours to make. So I was like, well, okay, I guess I could make you one, but let me look into like making a couple, because there's got to be a faster way.
Were you doing them by hand, like cutting stuff yourself?
The first one, the first couple. And then, so I made a couple for my friends, and then everybody wanted one. And it was really cool to see like just the flick of a switch, to where I never intended on like selling a tool or making a tool. But it helps people. It helps firemen get in faster. It helps people like the residents not have to pay this, hefty door fine for a new door, or not feel like they can secure the door after we break it down and stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, like if you have a deadbolt, you're safe. So don't be scared that, we're going to come in and somebody is going to come into your house. This is great for like apartment gates and like outward swinging doors and stuff like that. If you're worried about your security, a fireman will break down your door if you can't get in. If he can get in with this, he's going to use this, but otherwise we're getting in by breaking it down. But you are secure otherwise if you have a dead latch or a deadbolt. The way this works, and there's tons of videos on the Williams Key Instagram and on Williams Key the website and TikTok and YouTube. So if you're curious, you can look up the videos, but it's only takes a few seconds. So the way the Williams Key works, there's two sides to it. There's the blade side, and then there's a shove knife side. The shove knife, maybe you've experienced a smaller version of this before, but if you can see the strike of a lock, you can go in there and toggle it and potentially get that door to open. If you can't see the strike, and we call it a anti-vandal plate. It's like a steel plate that covers the lock to prevent vandalism. That's what the blade side is good for, and it'll like reach behind that anti-vandal plate and still toggle the strike. So really the best use for this tool is that feature where you're getting behind the anti-vandal plate.
That's where the apartments come in, right? A lot of apartments.
Yeah, great for apartments. And then this is a 12-inch blade, but your maximum reach is diagonally, which is I think a little over 13 or 14 inches. But you can grab the tip of this and reach even farther through to maximize your reach.
Oh, I see.
If you're having trouble, you can grab a strike up and around. And some anti-vandal plates, there'll be a plate in the front, and then inside the door frame, there'll be a plate on the bottom and on the top. So if you're just trying to reach down and hit the strike, there'll be another plate in the way. So that's when like doing the diagonal reach comes in handy, because you can bypass all three. Yeah. Which is pretty nifty. Some guys will bend these tools and try and use it to hit a panic bar. So that works. And these tools will bend. That's natural. That's normal. That's fine. You can hammer it back or put it in a vise. It's not going to be pretty forever. Tools are meant to be used. So they come looking kind of pretty with the logo and everything, but I encourage you to use it and not just use it as a piece of art or something up on your wall.
And is there any, I'm sure people ask you, is there any kind of like warranty or trade-in program? Or I mean, once it's damaged, it's damaged.
No, so we keep the price cheap enough to where guys will lose it or they really don't break it. But if they lose it or somebody else takes it, they're $30. So it's not like you're spending $100 on something and you're not going to be able to afford to replace it.
Right.
I've had people buy, 5 at a time, 10 at a time off of me. And if you lose it or whatever, even though the price of steel is going up right now, our profit margins have been less, but we've been trying to keep the price the same just to help everybody out. And I'm not trying to get rich off these. It's just my way of helping people. And I can't do it for free because this is totally taking over my life on my days off too.
You hear that, folks? You heard it from somebody else.
Yeah, I really have no days off. This is my day off, and
we're still working.
So some other cool things you can do with the Williams Key. They're also customizable. I've been trying to get away from this because it takes up even more of my time.
And there's more room for error, and there's more room for complaints.
Room for error, yep.
That's me talking, not him.
It's true, though. It's definitely true. But you can put your name on this, and it costs a little bit extra. But we can do that for you.
Is that like a laser engraving kind of deal?
Laser engraving, yeah. So I have a little office set up. I have 3 laser engravers.
You do it yourself?
I do it myself.
Oh, even better.
And,
okay, good. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, so I'm in charge of that, making sure it comes out right.
Great. Yeah, that's great information. A lot of people love the personal touch.
Yeah.
Do you have a cutter? Do you cut that stuff, or do you outsource that?
So, and lucky for all of you, I was able to get a big shipment in this morning right before I got here. And I have a factory that cuts these for me. We started out doing a water jet cut. And we transitioned to a laser cut. So laser cut's coming out a little bit cleaner. And then for most of these, let's see, is this one of them? Well, my current version, we're doing a powder coat logo on it.
Oh, nice.
So that saves me a little bit of time. It costs me more, but saves me time where I don't have to go and engrave the logo on every single one.
Right.
Now I'm just engraving the custom names.
Gotcha.
So that's actually saving me probably hundreds of hours trying to do that. But yeah, I've got 6 computers set up in my office, tons of vents, water cooling for the laser engravers, just like a whole big
I bet
production. And most of the profits from this stuff has gone into building the business and expanding the operations.
Naturally.
So yeah, just like you and your podcast.
Naturally.
You start small and then
it feeds itself.
You keep building and it's fun.
Yep.
It's hard work, but it's rewarding.
So what you have an XXL, XXXXXL, and
so the Triple XL Magnum. It started with a 30-inch. This is a 35-inch. We're discontinuing the 30-inch very soon. Once they finish selling, just because the 35-inch is better. The longer it is, the more reach you have. And this is great for going over gates, grabbing handles with this. So going up under a gate, grabbing a handle, or if the anti-vandal plate runs up the entire length of the door, this will reach down half of the door and still grab your strike.
Gotcha.
And then some guys will get into cars with it and stuff too. So it's a little versatile.
Yeah.
And then another cool feature is we have these censored doors where if you trip the sensor, it'll open the doors for you. So being able to stick this through and maybe putting a glove on the end and waving it around, that'll trigger the door to open. So there's a lot of different
we get creative,
techniques out there. And what's cool is, we've sold thousands of these at this point. People will send me videos of like something they discovered. The other day, this guy sent me a video of him getting into a window and pushing the latch out of the way. And I'd never seen that, never even considered that. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. So super versatile. I'm really happy to announce a brand new tool. You were the very first guy to see it. We're announcing it today.
All right.
And it is the folding version of the Williams Key.
Oh, nice.
Fire.
Nice.
I've gotten a lot of requests for this because having a 12-inch right-angled tool is awkward to carry in your turnouts.
Right, and we keep that one. We have that one that you have in your hand, and we keep it in a medical box. But we have a big Pelican case, so it's not even your traditional medical box.
Right, and that's a great place. I see a lot of stations doing that. in the box. I've even seen some people put magnets on top of their box, stick it to the magnets so you have quick access. But yeah, the biggest request I've gotten is I want to carry this in my turnouts and I want to have it on me at all times. So it's taken a while to like design this, and it's been trial and error because you can't just put a screw right in the top because then it won't fit in the gap
right
in the door. The screw will get in the way. So what we've done, this loosens, and this flips back and slides.
Oh, nice.
So you're clearing.
Oh, I see.
This line right here.
Yep.
This line has to be clear in order for it to go up and slide down. So there will be two versions of this. This will go. So this is the nicer version, and I really liked this thumb turn edition with like the little logo on it and stuff.
Yeah.
I can't get these in bulk. It's like it's a part of a camera.
Just the screw?
Yeah, just the thumb turn screw.
Okay.
So these are really expensive for me. I couldn't source them anywhere. So I'm pretty much selling this part at cost. But this will be $5 more than the non-thumb turn.
Oh,
version.
I see.
So this comes with just like a simple wing nut. It's not as pretty.
Right.
Does the same job. And then if you like want it to feel good, look good, kind of have the premium version, you'll have this thumb turn version.
Okay. All right.
And so this will be about $50, and then this one will be about $45.
And it looks like you have a leather wrap on it so that it doesn't chew up the pocket in your turnouts.
Right. Yeah. So you can also purchase we call these like a tip cover, and it's made out of leather. A guy from Texas makes these for me.
Oh. By hand?
By hand. Yeah. These are handmade.
Made in America.
American Texas leather, and then it just fits over like that. And then when you're storing it, just slides back, comes around, and then
easy.
That goes over there.
And I'll recommend, just from seeing that, I haven't played with it yet, but I will recommend the leather part because the metal tip will wear a hole in your turnout pocket.
Yeah, definitely can. Either that or throw it in an old leather glove or something like that to protect.
Oh, okay.
But so the first gen, these are the 5th gen now. So we've had 5 different versions. The first gen were really pointy, and it was heavy duty. It was thicker than these, and just really sharp. So it was like a dagger, and guys were poking themselves with it and stuff. So definitely with that one, needed a case.
Yeah.
And since then, we've started to round the tips a little bit and make it more friendly. You know, all the sides. So the tip cover is nice. I wouldn't say you have to have it, but it'll definitely save your turnouts in the long run.
And you're shipping worldwide, right?
Shipping worldwide. I think at this point we've done all 50 states. I've got several distributors that send keys to who knows where. But I know personally I've sent to 48 states. And then we've sent a ton to Canada. We've sent to South America. We've sent to Africa, Australia, China, all over Europe. So yeah, these are really getting out there.
That's awesome, dude.
And let's see, we got
you got a lot of wares there. What do you got? What do you got? Stickers and any plugs that you got there?
So people love these. Stick them on all sorts of stuff. People put them on their cars, but that's just our basic logo. These aren't for sale, but this is special for Zuni, just for inviting me to come on the show.
Thank you, sir.
And then we have sticker packs where this is for the Magnum. And I've had fun just designing stuff like this. This is not me, but this is a guy sliding down the pole at 8s.
Oh, nice.
Holding a Williams key that I photoshopped in front of an American flag. And we also sell T-shirts with this on the back.
Oh, cool.
In fact, at work, I made the T-shirt to look like a station shirt where it has like a little Maltese. And it says
navy
Williams
blue.
Key, navy blue. You can't even tell it's like not a actual fire department. But this is huge on the back of it, so... That's been fun.
Are you doing those DTG, direct to garment?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
that's the way to go.
Yeah, I've been using Printify, and they do a lot of my meme stickers. They do because it's just like they do like per order. you know, so I don't have to buy thousands of them
Right.
to get a good price. I don't like to make money off of any of the merch, so I pretty much have that at cost, just because I appreciate whoever wants to support being able to do it just by wearing the logo. And
Oh, I see.
so that's like, I think the merch is cool, like this shirt and stuff, like this hat.
Yeah, the hat.
But
It looks like you got a door jam, some carabiners.
yeah, so door jam. So
PVC pipe patches.
This is not my idea, but they make a Williams Key version of the door jam for me, and I really like the way it turned out. And then I also sell these carabiners. They're lightweight plastic, and door jams are used to hold doors open once you get in, which is like a perfect pair for the Williams Key. You get in, you slap a door jam on it, and then you're good to go. So these have been really popular.
Nice.
A lot of guys have been hitting me up for those.
Do you have the door jams, or does that website sell those?
I have them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I order these in bulk.
Okay.
And then people order them through me.
You're doing it, dude.
Yeah.
Man. And how long has this whole Williams Key been going on?
Let's see. I think I made my first sale in, I want to say September. Yeah. So not for very long.
September of
last
20.
year. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. So not
And
for
it's
very
picking
long.
up some steam pretty quick.
Oh my gosh. I've been scurrying to keep up with it ever since. And yeah, so this morning we just got 1,000 more tools in. So anybody who's been waiting for a key, don't worry, it's coming. And something I'd like to share, because I think a lot of people are used to like Amazon speeds
Thank you.
and prices. Small businesses can't compete with that. And especially as a firefighter or a firefighter small business, we're getting called out on strike teams. We're getting forced to work overtimes. So like we can't always keep up with the demand like a Amazon would. The other thing is, during this pandemic, we're now at a shortage of wood, shortage of steel. The post offices are overworked. There's less people driving, less people working. So everything's getting backed up. And we didn't see it at first during the COVID thing, but now we're starting to see it even more, because it's finally gotten to the point where we've ran out of all the reserves. Like here, like, I don't know, like all the reserves that like stores had and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now all that's depleted. And so it's taking longer to get the steel, and it's getting more expensive. So I just like to kind of share that now as a reminder, not just for me, but like all the businesses out there. Everybody.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. I like to do a lot of shenanigans on Instagram, and people have a lot of. I would say, I'm sure you would agree, most people use social media for personal use. I'm your friend, you're my friend. We follow each other, and we're out at dinner, and we'll post each other, and that's pretty much where it ends. Those of us that are kind of running business-like kind of things use it for a little bit more. So the fact that we're posting something that day doesn't necessarily mean that picture or video was taken that day. I have posted some stuff that I had filmed or taken pictures of weeks ago, sometimes months ago, and I just choose to post it that day. Does not reflect that I am at Disneyland that day.
Right.
So just because I post something there does not mean you are able to keep tabs on me or anyone else that has a business, and that does not mean that I am lacking on your order. So I'm just piggybacking on what you started there, because that seems to be what I see happening. Is I'll post something where I'm having fun and being goofy just because that's what I like to do, but I have some stickers that people ordered or whatever the case may be, and then I'll get a passive aggressive message in my DMs. Hey, just checking to see where my order is and if you ever got the chance to ship it.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you saw what I was doing, that it's not related to the stickers, but it's coming, I promise. We are not Amazon Prime. I like that.
Yep,
that might be a sticker coming soon. But we love you and appreciate everyone that is patient and that does order. It goes a long, long way. It goes a long, long way. So was there any other things that you wanted to throw out there? Anyone you want to shout out or cover? Or
so there's just one more thing. It's another like business venture of mine that is up and coming. And I've been working on this project for about 10 years. with a fire captain from my old department. And it's called Medfire Innovations. It helped make the Williams Key. So it helped on the back end of developing the product, finding the sources to get the metal and get the designs cut. And this company can help any firefighter or anybody really who has a product that they want to develop and patent and sell. So Medfire Innovations is the company, but it's multifaceted, where there's going to be a Medfire Jobs. It's already live, but it's much like Fire Careers.
Oh, okay.
Where, actually, it's free for the user. So if you're trying to get a job, it's free for you to sign up on there, and then it just costs whatever entity wants to advertise their posting on there. It's like fire, police, medical, that sort of avenue.
All in one.
All in one. So that's Medfire Jobs associated with Medfire Innovations. And then we're also working on kind of like a GovX type of deal where people can host their products. Especially if you develop your product through us, we'll be selling it on that website. And then you can also pay for advertising to get promoted through there. And then we are seeking investors as well. This being a new company, we're able to allow investors from California only.
It's all one thing. So the GovX thing you're talking about, the job postings, that's all one. That's all one project.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is all Medfire.
Okay.
And actually, here's a sticker.
Oh, perfect.
Medfire.
Okay.
So yeah, being a new company, we're raising capital, and if you want to be an investor, you have to be California resident, and you can go to medfireinvest.com.
Perfect.
For that.
All of these websites, all of the social medias, everything we're talking about will be in the description below.
Yeah. So that's I like to stay busy, I guess, but those are a few of my ventures and things I'm passionate about, and a lot more to come.
Well, it's very obvious that you have a very clear entrepreneur mindset, and I believe your upbringing and your past experience have everything to do with that. So I congratulate you on everything you've done so far, and I see many more things happening for you in the future, definitely. Please check out the Williams Key. It's awesome. Please check out all the wonderful stuff. Was that anything before I wrap this up? Was there anything else you would like to mention? I like giving it up to you.
For part one, that's fine.
Hey, man, and again, I want to throw it out to everybody else. If you have anything else, believe it or not, the goal originally for this podcast was to highlight local business. That's why I started it. And it has grown into something completely different, which is totally great. But it continues evolving. I like things that evolve. I like people that continuously evolve. Staying static and stagnant, it's just boring. It's boring. So if you have a business, a nonprofit, it doesn't have to be EMS or military or anything related, anything at all, and it sounds interesting, or you have an interesting story, just like Trevor here. Trevor's here because he works at Eights and he's bitching and he has all this awesome stuff he makes, but he threw out this story about Haiti and this earthquake, and you heard it. You never know where awesome stories come out, and that's what we're here to do. We have this awesome technology. I'm just a guy. Trevor's just a guy. Or, there's guys and gals with plenty of stories to tell. If you have one and you want to come on the show, talkinoutofmystache@gmail.com. Please reach out. Let's get talking. Otherwise, Trevor, again, thank you for bringing your story, your personal life, the job, and your products to the podcast. This is an amazing episode. I'm so happy. I'm so proud to call you a county brother. Until next time, we'll see you later. Thank you for watching Talking Out of My Stache.